So, as we go along, I'm going to go ahead and give you a brief overview of the agenda, and we'll cover what we'll be looking at for today. First off, ahead of the welcome and introductions today, folks, we're going to have a bit of a legal disclaimer. As we all know, the lawyers told us we had to, and then we're going to come back in and do official welcome and introductions. After which, David Worley from Twilio is going to kick us off, highlighting how companies are moving quickly to migrate from existing legacy solutions towards a flexible, programmable contact center. We're going to cover 3 of the top trends that are leading this migration, trends which highlight exciting developments for both agents and customers alike, accelerating, for example, a move to the cloud, a shift from products to platforms, and also how companies are focusing on enabling agents to engage in real customer conversations. Then Chuck Lukat will run through a Twilio demonstration videos that bring these concepts to life. Afterwards, Miles Phillips from Terrazzo will walk through some Terrazzo customer engagement success stories, overviewing applications that Terrazzo has built, which bring out the best in Twilio Flex when leveraged in a contact center setting. Finally, I'll be back to wrap us up, moderating an interactive discussion to hear what you have to say. We'll be taking questions throughout the webinar using the Zoom chat Q&A feature, and we'll do our best to get to all of your questions. If we miss anything, please feel free to send it over after the webinar to hello@terrazzo.com. So thanks again for joining us today, and I'm going to turn it over quickly to David Worley of Twilio to bring you a brief legal disclaimer. David.
Thank you so much. So today we may share some confidential forward-looking information from Twilio. I have to mention this legal disclaimer that Twilio is a publicly traded company. Be advised to make any purchasing decisions based on products and services we currently offer. Now back to you.
Thank you, David. And now on to the welcome and introductions. My name is Gilberto Velasquez Jr., and I'm Director of Partner Marketing here at Terrazzo. I'll be your webinar host today, and I'm very thrilled to be in some exciting company. Along with me from Terrazzo is Miles Phillips, Senior Director of Twilio Partnership. Miles brings over 20 years of experience in a variety of roles spanning product management, development, IT management, marketing, and sales, all of which allow him to bring a truly holistic approach to enhancing the customer experience. Miles leads Terrazzo's partnership with Twilio here, where he helps guide customers through their digital transformation journey. Joining us from Twilio today are David Worley and Chuck Lukat. David Worley is a principal product manager at Twilio with a focus on the contact center, having held similar roles at Vonage, NICE, and Interactive Intelligence / Genesis. David is passionate about the customer experience, making it both frictionless and fun, thus helping companies leverage CX as a way to retain and obtain new customers. Chuck Lukat is a principal solutions engineer at Twilio. Chuck combines his deep background in technical engineering with a robust and creative problem-solving skill set for enhancing the customer contact center experience. Before I turn it over to David, I'm going to go ahead and give us all a brief sort of overview of Terrazzo at a glance. So Terrazzo was founded in 2016, have a little bit over 80 plus employees, and we're growing almost by the day. And we have about 65 plus Twilio certifications company-wide, which is all in part of our great Twilio Gold consulting partner status that we have. And I want to add to that one more little element some of you may have read. We had a $10.5 million investment in May 2021, led by Tercera with Twilio participation. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a high level overview. I'm going to turn it over to David, who's going to kind of walk you through Twilio Flex by the numbers and some examples. David.
Thank you so much. So again, my name is David Worley, and I'm going to cover the Twilio portion of the webinar today. So before we start, here's a little background. So Flex launched back in October of 2018 during Signal, which is our annual developer and customers event. Since those early days, we've been really hard at work making Flex better. But even before 2018, Twilio customers were already using and creating their own contact center instances based on other available Twilio products like Programmable Voice, IVR, and even Studio. So even though Twilio Flex may seem like somewhat of a new cloud contact center offer, we in fact are the second largest contact center vendor based on a recent 2021 DMG report. And customers that have built their contact center with Flex have seen a slew of tangible benefits, including decreased average handle times, as well as streamlined deployment, typically seen in days versus weeks or months. So today, we hope to share some of those successes with you. Over the past year and a half, three major emerging trends have been shaping digital acceleration. First, we see all types of business models modernizing, migrating, moving from the physical to the digital. This is a trend that's been happening for 20 plus years, but it's been massively accelerated over the past year and a half due to this shift to work from home. Second, we're seeing companies modernize their contact center, and the older packaged CCaaS solutions are moving more toward a platform play. Customers are now keenly aware that packaged solutions are somewhat inflexible and don't necessarily provide the agility to pivot when and where needed. And lastly, we're seeing companies take advantage of the incredible opportunities created by this new agile workforce. Companies can now use this to reimagine their frontline customer engagement. This means that complete threaded customer conversations are increasingly more meaningful than the legacy single or multi-channel task-based interactions. So let's dive in. Again, trend number one here isn't new, shouldn't be shocking to anybody. This shift from an on-prem to a cloud-based solution continues to gain momentum and speed. And we at Twilio expect this trend to accelerate further. In a recent Twilio research project, we discovered that 79% of respondents reported an increased budget for digital transformation due to the pandemic. And this led many companies to modernize their IVR to handle the increase in volume as a result. If companies weren't already thinking of moving to the cloud, the pandemic definitely sped up those behaviors. And the thing that really stood out were the companies already using digital channels, or what I should say that really stood out were the companies who lacked digital channels because they couldn't adapt quickly. Oxfam is a great example of a customer moving from a legacy on-premises contact center to Twilio Flex. For those that are unfamiliar, Oxfam is a UK-based charity whose sole mission is fighting global poverty. So why did Oxfam build with Flex? Well, they saw Flex as an opportunity to increase the safety of donations made over the phone. They also saw Flex as a way to increase flexibility of their workforce depending on demand. For instance, when a humanitarian crisis occurs, Oxfam will see up to 100% increase in donations made over the phone. They also saw Flex as a platform to improve their call handling and routing to maximize service efficiency. And they saw it as a contact center they could constantly iterate very easily. And last but not least, they saw Flex as a way to view insights and reporting to support training and further development of staff. Let me provide another example of a customer moving from an on-prem contact center to the cloud with Flex, and illustrate that Flex is not only appealing to cutting-edge builder-type companies. Consider the Illinois Tollway, an established state-run organization that isn't necessarily known for being cutting-edge. The Tollway was previously running a Cisco on-prem contact center express. They ran into scale issues when the Tollway needed to scale to 600 plus agents and do it quickly. The Cisco contact center express seat limit was 400, maximum no more. Besides that, Cisco was sunsetting their perpetual licensing, and the Illinois Tollway was going to be required to move to an end-of-life agreement with a rip and replace with net new hardware. And notice I said hardware, new licensing, and extensive professional services. Wow, this was going to be a huge challenge, and they needed to do this on a very aggressive timeline. So they looked to Twilio and Flex. And they worked with one of our SIs to build an omni-channel Flex solution that will have that has a custom pay app to tie into their existing SAP Fiserv systems. This included a move to the Twilio Super Network as well. This, like Oxfam, is just one of many on-prem to Flex success stories. This takes us into trend number 2, and this is really where Flex shines. So Twilio Flex is a completely programmable cloud contact center, providing customers the ability to tailor Flex to their unique business requirements. And to make things even better, customers control the roadmap. No need to wait on lengthy release cycles. And agility is really the key, and where the traditional off-the-shelf solutions traditionally fall short. We've seen customers like Oxfam migrate their voice-only on-prem contact center and deploy an omni-channel digital-first solution in just a matter of days. Let's take a look at another great Flex customer, Shopify, and why they moved from a more traditional packaged solution to Flex. So Shopify, for those unfamiliar, is a multinational e-commerce company based in Ottawa, Canada. They offer online retailers a suite of services to simplify the process of running an online store. Shopify supports more than 1 million businesses in well over 175 countries. And that explosive growth, of course, wasn't without pain. As Shopify expanded, their legacy contact center to support their online retailers just really couldn't keep up. They were unable to deliver the level of customer service they wanted to provide, and they knew they needed to provide. So Shopify and their team started making plans to build their own from scratch. In 2018, they discovered Twilio Flex, and lo and behold, they knew right then and there that they didn't have to build it from scratch. They started with Flex and built out additional functionality to match their unique business needs. In fact, it took them 4 months and a team of 5 developers, 2 were interns, to go from concept to prototype to full launch of Flex. The team rolled out the new Flex system, new routing engine, skill trees, and IVR, as well as screen pops for agents. They now have thousands of agents utilizing Flex. And I love this quote. Chris Wilson, the director of tech support there at Shopify, perfectly summed up the experience Shopify had with Flex. He stated, "We can wrap Flex around Shopify instead of having to wrap Shopify around Flex." Another really great example of a Flex customer is Yelp. And who is Yelp and what are they familiar? What do they do? So Yelp is a website and mobile app that connects people with great local businesses. And since Yelp launched back in 2004, Yelp users have contributed over 100 million reviews on local businesses of all sorts. In just a few months since going live back in March this year, Yelp has already ramped their Flex usage up to 2,100 agents. The majority of Yelp's revenue is generated by its large sales organization, which prospects daily into local businesses. For many years, Yelp has leveraged a legacy call center platform for its sales team to manage both outbound prospecting calls as well as inbound support service interactions. There were a number of challenges with this legacy platform, including platform was poorly integrated with Yelp CRM, which is Salesforce. Yelp's ability to pull communication metrics from its legacy system was severely limited, which in turn limited its ability to manage their sales teams and their productivity. And the system didn't support Yelp's desire to constantly iterate on its communication workflows and build out new functionality and workflows on behalf of its sales team. Yelp has built a completely custom inbound, outbound sales contact center on top of Twilio Flex. And even though their primary use case is outbound, the key to this deal was the ability for Yelp to constantly iterate on the platform to respond to changing conditions. Now let's talk about another area where we're seeing massive change to this new normal. And that's all about the new agile workforce and moving past single channel, multi-channel customer service into these more threaded conversations. Trend number 3 is all about moving into conversations that span the life cycle of your customers. You know, deep connections with customers, more and better relationship building, a more complete customer history and journey. Let's go over an example of a Fortune 100 sports apparel company and how they use Flex to support their unique business needs. So we recently worked with a Fortune 100 sports apparel company that wanted complete control to improve their in-app chat experience. So with Twilio, they were able to offer customers the ability to chat with agents through their mobile app and have the chat thread persist from interaction to interaction. So all history is available every time that customer wants to start a new chat. So there's no starting over. Amazing, right? They were also able to make these conversations richer with integration into their proprietary product recommendation engine and the ability to share images inside the chat thread. These changes not only improved the customer experience, but resulted in a 5 times improvement in sales conversion rates. Agent productivity went up in some cases by as much as 40% as agents were able to multitask with multiple cases open at once. This really illustrates the increased productivity by better agent utilization, provides upsells opportunities, but also delivers an incredible experience to the end customer. So Twilio Flex is different from most contact center solutions because every solution looks a little bit different. We think this is logical because no two businesses look the same. Therefore, they shouldn't be shoehorned into using the same packaged software. It requires developers to achieve this. And in many organizations and businesses, they just don't have the developers on staff to build and maintain it. That's where we come in. We want you to be in control of how you differentiate. And we can help you build a Flex instance that is uniquely your own with the right channel mix, self-service components, routing and reporting that you want to differentiate your business. Just like the Illinois Tollway, Shopify, Oxfam, and so many more, companies of all sizes, from a few hundred seats to thousands of seats, have used the power of programmability to make Flex their own customer engagement platform, truly tailored to their unique business needs. We have credibility and experience in the market with world-class notable customers, both large and small. And we've developed a network of over 20 ecosystem partners to provide customers with innovative solutions that can be integrated into your Flex contact center. Twilio has worked tirelessly with many partners to validate their integrations to ensure a valuable end-to-end experience. And from the start, we built Flex as a programmable platform that allows you to deploy and or augment a contact center quickly, connect with customers over any channel, completely change the user interface, and harness AI for a highly tailored agent and customer experience. This adaptability makes Flex, well, flexible, which means it's the most future-proof contact center platform available today. We also launched the Twilio Flex ecosystem. We know our customers are looking to Flex to take on the largest and most complex contact center workloads out there, but they want to do that while continuing to use the best of breed solution they've grown to love, such as their workforce management, workforce optimization, or even their CRM. Or perhaps they want to bring in AI to the agent experience for automation of repeated tasks, or maybe next best action. The Twilio Flex ecosystem will give you access to over 30 validated partner solutions from partners such as Google, Salesforce, Zendesk, and Calabrio, just to name a few, all ready to help you accelerate your projects. And with that, I will hand it over to Chuck to do a Flex demo.
Thanks, David. I'm very excited to be sharing the stage with Terrazzo today. Due to the time format of the webinar, I asked my colleague Tammy Ben-David to record a Flex demonstration for today's audience. I'm here to answer any questions after the demo and during the Q&A portion of the webinar. Gilberto, can you please start Tammy's demo now?
We'll start it right away.
Consumers increasingly turn to online purchases as a convenient way to do their holiday shopping. From checkout to pickup, let's look at how Twilio helps retailers deliver touchless customer experiences for curbside pickup. Here we see a customer purchasing some gifts online. Modest Exchange recently started using Twilio to support their curbside pickup just in time for the holidays. It only required a small change in the checkout flow to ensure that they always collect the customer's phone number and ask the customer to opt into notifications and marketing. Using Twilio programmable messaging, our customer immediately gets a notification text confirming their order once they've completed checkout. This starts the conversation with the customer and provides them an easy way to get in touch with the business if they have any issues before their order is ready. A few minutes later, our customer receives another notification in the same conversation, letting them know that their order is ready for pickup at the store they specified. This notification provides all the instructions to get their order and a quick link to get directions to the store. Once the customer arrives at the store, they park in one of the designated contactless pickup parking spots and send the spot ID back to the same number that they've been receiving notifications from. The ability to keep all of this conversation in the same thread helps the customer feel fully supported and equipped. At this point, let's take a look at the experience for a customer service agent working inside the store. With Twilio Flex, this representative is always working in a single user interface. They can see which orders are ready to pick up, as well as the orders that still need to be picked. Twilio Flex allows the agent to communicate with customers across multiple channels from the same single interface so they can resolve issues proactively. When a new customer arrives and texts in their spot number, they appear in a queue of tasks, waiting to be assigned to the best qualified agent. The agent can then see the location of each of the customers within the parking lot. Our customer service agent takes the most recent task and notifies the customer that their order should be out soon. This notification is automatically personalized within the context of the interaction, instilling confidence in the customer that they're in the right place and that this will be a straightforward and efficient process. Once the agent has accepted the task, they can see an organized view of all the information they'll need to fulfill this order. Twilio Flex has been configured to show the customer's information from a CRM so that the representative can personalize the experience. An integrated rewards program allows modest exchange to build personal relationships with loyal brand advocates. Order information, pulled from a marketplace integration, ensures that the store reps have all the context they need to validate the order. And an inventory management integration displays the staging location and helps the rep feel confident that they'll get the correct order out the door. All of this is pulled directly from the relevant systems of record, meaning you never need to worry about divergent or missing data. This unified single pane of glass decreases response time and total transaction time, ensuring that the store can avoid queues and backups during heavy holiday traffic. Flex combines the power of Twilio's customer communications platform with a fully programmable UI, so you can tailor it perfectly to your business. If our agent needs to confirm a change to the order with our customer, they can initiate a voice call directly from Flex to make sure to validate all the details. While two-way messaging keeps your agents available and engaged with your customers so that they can answer questions in real time. The customer's spot number is displayed in Flex, so once the store representative has the order collected, they know exactly where to go to drop the order off in the customer's trunk. Once the agent has delivered the order to the customer's car, they can complete the interaction in Flex. This automatically sends the customer a notification confirming their order completion. For the customer, this caps off a high-touch experience that has remained contactless the entire way. Twilio is helping retail businesses deliver the next generation of customer experience. We can't wait to see what you build.
Thank you, Chuck. As you've seen today, Twilio Flex can look quite different from customer to customer. Flex really does let you tailor it around your business versus shifting your business to align with your software. I'm going to give you a glimpse today into 3 very different Flex implementations. First, we're going to start off with a global test proctoring company and see how they enabled virtual proctoring during the pandemic. Then we're going to move on to real estate and see how our customers utilizing Flex connect agents with qualified buyers. Finally, we're going to dive into a national healthcare network and see how they're using Flex combined with ServiceNow. One common theme you will see is that all these companies have a contact center that fits their business, not the other way around. As we know, the pandemic created tremendous business challenges for all companies who relied on in-person experiences. Our customer approached us with the challenge to build out a globally scalable test proctoring application. Using Flex, we created an experience to smoothly guide the test taker through each stage of the testing experience, from doing an initial readiness check to make sure they're ready to take the exam, to actually going through the exam, and then passing the exam on for review in case there's been oddities during the examination process. Utilizing Twilio Video, the agent is set up to view multiple exam takers at once. From there, they can select any specific test taker to get a larger view of their video or see any contextual information about the exam that's being processed. The end result was a proctoring experience capable of scaling to thousands of simultaneous exams. Next up, we had a real estate technology company that's working to connect real estate agents with prospects who are ready to purchase a home now. They had previously implemented another contact center software, but we're looking to make a change to a platform like Flex that could really scale their business. It was important to have a system to allow prospects to connect with them via the channel of their choice and to be able to move conversations across the channels. We built out a mini CRM that sat entirely within Flex to give these agents a full lifecycle view of the prospects we're talking with, ensuring that agents are able to stay on one platform and not go system to system throughout the customer interaction. Additional strategies such as text message ahead of a call have been implemented to increase the conversion rate. Terrazzo also provides managed services to proactively monitor and support the full solution from the Flex layer all the way down to the microservices that help power the solution. The end result was an excellent agent experience that's tailored to work with their custom internal systems that allows prospects to communicate over the channel they're choosing, thus increasing conversion rates. Now, finally, I want to talk about a nationwide hospital healthcare network who was in the process of modernizing their IT and had selected ServiceNow for their IT service management platform and Flex for the contact center needs. They looked to Terrazzo for how to integrate these systems together to present a single view to their IT help desk. We were able to integrate Flex directly into ServiceNow. When a user calls, we're able to determine if the user is calling about a new issue or existing issue. For existing issues, our intelligent IVR is able to look up the status of the ticket and convey that to the customers, and then give them the option to connect on into support if they need further assistance to the issue. Alternatively, if it's a new issue, we're able to create a ticket on the fly within ServiceNow to let the agent get to work quickly on the issue. Using Task Router, we're able to set up different tiers of IT support, think level 1, level 2, and training, and also do things like set up a priority support queue for when physicians are calling in and need help fast. And again, for this solution, Terrazzo also provides managed service to monitor the integration and make sure everything is working as expected. The end result here was a centralized IVR with self-service capabilities, intelligent skill-based routing to ensure the right agent takes the right call, and contact center capabilities directed directly into ServiceNow. Thanks, Gilberto.
Well, thank you very much, Miles. I appreciate it. I wanted to go ahead and take a quick minute here, folks, before we get into, and don't see any Q&A, so allow me to give you folks a good amount of time here to have any questions. I wanted to make sure that everybody came and joined us at Signal 2021. If you're unfamiliar with Twilio's Signal, it is the premier customer and developer conference of the year, and it will be held this year on October 20th and October 21st. That's Wednesday and Thursday, October 20th and 21st. And we at Terrazzo will be actually having a speaker session at that time on October 21st at 8:30 a.m. Pacific, which obviously is 11:30 a.m. Eastern. And it's going to be covering omni-channel customer delight in logistics. And Miles Phillips, as you have already heard from today, will be part of that panel, as well as Maddie Korber, who's the Senior Manager of IT Projects at Estes Forwarding Worldwide. Remember, folks, that this is going to be a virtual event. So therefore, you're going to need to make sure when you register, it will be all held on virtually. You can attend from anywhere in the world. One of the key components here is you're going to learn how Estes Forwarding Worldwide progressed on their digital transformation journey, reducing inbound call volume by 22% during a time when shipment volume increased 18%. And I'm going to digress a minute off script and say, from a personal note, coming from a lot of oil and gas, maritime and transportation logistics industries myself, that's one of the reasons that I came to work at Terrazzo, was bringing these sort of solutions for customers and engaging with their clients and empowering our own agents. So you're not going to want to miss that. As a matter of fact, we encourage you to use code Terrazzo50, that's Terrazzo50, for half off your registration at signal.twilio.com. And we look forward to seeing you at Signal. And I'm going to check the Q&A one last time here, see if we have any open questions. Don't see any as of yet. Checking the panelists themselves, see if any participants have raised their hands. I have not. Oh, Chris, we got a question. Please go ahead.
All right, I was typing that up in the Q&A, but I missed it there. Yeah, so one of the things I heard in the presentation of the customer stories and the customer case studies, especially on the ones from Twilio, it's a lot of the contact center migration. We know one of the trends that I think we've seen in customer experience evolution over the past, call it 18 months, 2 years, has been either companies or use cases that had a customer experience that maybe did not have a contact center involved at all. So, right, I think of all of the how am I picking up something via SMS? And I think we saw some of that in the video. But for a company that has not operationally had a contact center, but is looking to integrate these kind of omni-channel customer experience products and technologies into their into their business processes or use cases, how should they approach that when operating a contact center has not been kind of a first-class activity for them, but it may now need to become one?
Every company is different, right? So everybody's approach to migration, whether you are experienced contact center shop or not, varies greatly. The beauty of Flex is it is so versatile, and relying on the Twilio platform itself allows you to take individual pieces if you want, such as SMS only or chat only or voice only, and start incorporating those into your business, and then gradually building out a contact center.
And I want to kind of jump on what Chuck said there. Exactly right. What I see in the product marketing side is really the ability to augment as well. So a lot of the smaller customers, or maybe ones that don't really even know they need a contact center just yet, come to us with just an idea. Hey, a lot of my customers are asking me to use WhatsApp, and we've never done that. Is that something that you guys could help us with in a kind of a service capacity? And you better believe we can help you with that. And so we see a lot of entry into the contact center space because of a specific need or a lack of something.
And David, I would jump onto that as well. The first case study we talked about from the Terrazzo side, when we're talking about test proctoring, that originally didn't come to us as a Twilio Flex opportunity. But when I started looking at this, that was a project I was personally involved in, and started looking at this concept. We've got tasks, we've got to move people from process to process to process. Task Router part of Flex started feeling like a really great fit for that. And when you have a Flex front end where you can customize UI to be exactly what you need, This is a great example where Flex didn't seem like an obvious fit, but it turned out to work beautifully. Instead of a task view of, all those incoming channels or chats are coming in, we replaced that with little mini video thumbnails of every person they're proctoring the exam process. So, anytime you need to route people through a process, need to present a front end, there really is a potential to consider Flex.
We did have a written in question in the chat. I'll just throw this up, David, Chuck, Miles. Can you go into more detail on the AI things that were briefly mentioned? Any examples of AI for call deflection, for example, along those lines?
Yeah, I'll start off. So without stealing thunder from our Signal conference that was plugged earlier, AI will be a big, Chuck is laughing at me. AI will be a big topic during our Signal here at the end of October. So I don't want to go into any details. The name of it will pretty much focus on voice for a moment, and we can do some other things. But Chuck, do you want to take a stab at like maybe how we're working with like Google CCAI? Anything that you want to bring up as it relates to what we've been doing?
Yeah, sure. So, Twilio is a great partnership with Google. And, just going back to the Twilio roots of a platform, we really can integrate with just about anything. So, while we do have a strong Google partnership and we're, going down a Google CCAI path, we also integrate with just about any AI out there. As far as agent deflection goes, call deflection, it's really a strong industry trend right now, and it really has been since the beginning of the pandemic, and it definitely hasn't slowed down at all.
And one thing I'll also chime in is we've had a couple examples we talked about that do, but the one that we have a really compelling stat about is the customer message forwarding worldwide that I'm going to be presenting at Signal. They found a really neat situation where they're shipping and logistics, so people are always texting in, where's my stuff? And they were able to implement simple natural language processing to do something along, oh, if I see someone asking along the lines, where's my stuff? Well, they can go on behind the scenes, make an API call, get the result, and then pass that information around to the customer. And that is a major part of that call deflection stat that we called out earlier in the presentation there.
Well, thank you, everybody. That was good. I'm going to go ahead and go over to Mr. Jim Snow, who raised his hand. Jim?
Hey, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound clear.
Thank you, Gilbert. I was getting ready to type in my question. I wasn't sure if we could enable my mic. Thanks for letting me ask a quick question. And some of the examples were within the sphere of migrating an established call center. We're actually considering establishing a call center. So within the spheres of kind of people, processes, and technology, what would be maybe the first few questions or the key questions that we should be asking ourselves? As we look at Twilio Flex, one of the things that strikes me the most is that it would enable us very quickly to build something to enable that conversation, right, with prospective customers and even among us in the organization. So that's pretty intriguing. But what other questions and considerations would you recommend that we evaluate, at least from an initial perspective? Hope that makes sense.
It does. David, did you want to start us off on that one?
And
I'll put you on the spot. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'll take a stab at it. So, from a product marketing perspective, I mean, we always throw a bunch of, crazy discovery questions and things in. I think the first thing I would think of is, are you a builder mentality? Do you want to build your contact center to accurately reflect what your business requirements are trying to do? And then along that line, do you have developers on staff that could do this and that could potentially maintain it long term? I think those would be really important questions to kind of like throw down in your mind, even before you get into any of the bits and bytes about a contact center. If you're interested in that, but you don't have the resources, you're on the right kind of call. Because that's what Terrazzo is all about, right? And we also have professional services as well that could at least maybe consult with you on that. So those are the things I'd want to know off the bat. Then I would probably want to know about what your business does. Like how are you handling any kind of calls or emails or chat, anything? How are you funneling those kind of things into your business today, or are you? And if you are, what are you using, what channels, and what's working, what's not working? And if you're not today, how would you visualize that? I'm not sure what kind of business you're in, Jim, but those things would really really high level I'd want to know about. And then we could start to kind of funnel you into what possibly could work or not within Flex. And Chuck, I know you do this all the time, and Chuck works with our contact center sales specialists at Twilio as well as our generalist AEs. And Chuck, we'd love to hear your viewpoint on this.
Yeah, thanks, David. So I think you nailed it, David, when you started talking about business use cases. So for me, even as an engineer, mapping what you want to do from the business side into technology and what pieces of Flex and Twilio in general fit your business is crucial. So it's usually what we begin with. Jim, you outline your business case. To us, we work with you in a consultative manner, and come up with how Flex would look for your organization. Back-end systems, very, very critical to us as well. What are we integrating with? How is the data? How can we get to the data? Is it easily accessible? Just kind of going down those lines there. So to me, as an engineer, that's really where I begin. Hope that was helpful.
That's great. Thank you.
And one other thing, Jim, that we've seen is I see a lot of people when they're starting down this journey, sometimes they try to start really big. They really want the world. They want to do everything that big bang. I also think iteration is key. You enable Flex, enable a few capabilities, try this, see how that works. And then you decide that next step to go to. It's important to have a plan for where you want to get to, but it's all important to take a step, evaluate the results, and determine if you have the right next step or if you want to course correct a little bit. A lot of times in these IT or development journeys, you do want to have the flexibility to kind of adjust your plans over time based on the data you're seeing.
That's great. Agreed. Thank you.
And thank you for the question, Jim. I'm going to take one more quick look-see here through the Q&A and chats. Don't see anything, and I want to also take a quick moment to give thanks to Mr. Trevor Dickerson of Terrazzo, who was leading a lot of the audio-visual efforts today. And Trevor, I don't see any other QAs or raise hands if you don't, or I don't know Miles or anyone else does, but I'm looking at no other remaining questions. If no one else does, do go ahead and feel free to go ahead and submit any other questions you may have directly to hello@terrazzo.com. And we do want to thank you again for attending our webinar today. Once again, the webinar has been recorded, and we will be sending out an email link with that information to get the recording. And we really are looking forward to help you take that next step. So if you have any more additional questions, maybe they were a little detailed or some things you want to discuss so we can go ahead and bring you along on your digital transformation journey, make sure to email hello@terrazzo.com. And once again, thank you to all of our fantastic panelists, David, Chuck, Miles, and again, thank you to Trevor for helping out with the audiovisual logistics. This concludes our webinar with Twilio and Terrazzo and 3 trends driving the programmable contact center.